punishment to be assessed at 80 years in the prison, and there is no fine. Does anyone wish to have the jury poll?
The summer of 2017, the most wanted teenager in Texas is also the fastest rising rapper in America. Federal marshals are hunting him. His song about running from the law is climbing the charts. His name is Taymor McIntyre. The world knows him as Tay-K. Here's the part that still doesn't make sense. He's accused in a murder case, and the more the police chase him, the more famous he gets. How does a fugitive become a star while he's still on the run? The answer isn't what anyone expected, and it starts long before the world ever heard his name. Because before the myth, there was a boy, born in Long Beach, California on June 16, 2000, raised in Arlington, Texas, a quiet suburb between Dallas and Fort Worth, a world away from the image his music would eventually paint. He was smart, charismatic, drawn to music almost from the day he could talk. Around him, a crew forms. They call themselves Bat Gang. They record freestyles, trap tracks, songs about streets most of them had barely touched. And there was talent there, raw, undeniable. But behind the ambition, a pattern was building. The music kept describing a life that was starting to become real. July 26, 2016, Mansfield, Texas. A plan is set in motion, a home invasion robbery. The target, a house. Inside, a 21-year-old named Ethan Walker. Tay-K is 16. He doesn't fire the fatal shot, but the state says he helped recruit the gunman, that he took part, and under the law, participating in a felony that ends in death can carry the same weight as pulling the trigger. Ethan Walker is killed. Tay-K is arrested, charged with murder, and in a single night, one teenager's life splits into two. The rapper who wanted to be famous and the defendant facing the rest of his life behind bars. By early 2017, he's out on house arrest, ankle monitor, waiting to find out if the courts will try him as an adult. Months of knowing exactly what's stacked against him, watching the case hang over every single day. March 27, 2017, he makes a decision that changes everything. With the co-defendant, he cuts off the monitor, disappears. He's still 16, and just like that, Tay-K isn't a defendant anymore. He's a fugitive. And now the story turns strange. June 30th, 2017, the police are still hunting him, and the song drops online. It's called The Race. What it does next is almost unbelievable. It turns a manhunt into a soundtrack. The song is built on the escape itself, bars about running, about the charges, about the exact situation the rapper is living through in real time. The music video drops the same day. The internet doesn't just listen, it watches, it shares, it argues. A teenage fugitive has turned his crime into the hook of his rise. He's running from the law while running straight toward fame.
A teen rapper's hit song was used as evidence against him in a murder trial in Fort Worth. Tay-K's song, The Race, climbed the charts 2 years ago, but now prosecutors are hoping it helps send him away for a long time.
The absurdity is hard to overstate. Here's a boy the authorities are actively hunting, and his song is blowing up. Streaming numbers climb. News outlets that would never cover an unknown rapper suddenly have a story that writes itself. The teenager who rapped about being on the run while being on the run. The mythology grows faster than the manhunt. Fans debate whether he's guilty. Comment sections argue over whether you should even stream a fugitive's music. And underneath it all sits a question nobody wants to answer. Why are so many people fascinated by a teenage fugitive? Are they drawn to the music or to the danger that makes it feel real? But the myth was hiding something darker. April 23rd, 2017. While Tay-K is on the run, a 23-year-old photographer named Mark Anthony Saldivar is killed in a Chick-fil-A parking lot in San Antonio.
The man's body was found right there in the parking lot. Police telling us the victim, 3 other men and 1 woman were riding in a small black sedan when an argument broke out. Prior to being shot, the man killed got out and the driver attempted to run him over. That's when the victim held onto the car, got on top of it, and began kicking the windshield. One of those 4 people still in the car pulled a handgun and shot him.
Prosecutors would later say it grew out of an attempted robbery. Saldivar isn't part of the story. Fans are streaming. He's a person, a life. And for years, this second case sits in the background, a shadow that refuses to stay buried.
Breaking news to share with you. We just learned 17-year-old Taymor McIntyre has been arrested in New Jersey by the U.S. Marshals Service. He's been being held there pending his extradition back here to Texas. McIntyre, who's from Arlington, is suspected in a capital murder case and had been described as a violent fugitive. He's been the subject of a nationwide manhunt.
The manhunt ends the way it had to. June 30th, 2017, the very day the race goes public, federal marshal captured Tay-K in Elizabeth, New Jersey, roughly 3 months as a fugitive. And the timing is almost too perfect to believe. His biggest moment of fame arrives in the exact second his freedom ends. He's flown back to Texas to face the murder charge. The song that made him famous follows him into the courtroom. And the case is about to become something no one could have predicted. Because here's where the art and the crime finally collide. When prosecutors build a case against a rapper, the question always comes up: does his music prove anything about him? Tay-K's lyrics describe the violence, the escape, the life he claims. To the state, that's evidence of intent. To his defenders, it's fiction. Performance, no different from any actor playing a role. And the race sits right at the center of it. A song written while he was actually running. So when does a rapper's art become evidence? The law has to draw a line, and that line decides how much of Tay-K's own words will be used to convict him. July 2019, the case over Ethan Walker's death goes to trial in Fort Worth. The prosecution lays out the plan, the robbery, the death. The defense argues Tay-K's role was smaller. He wasn't the one who pulled the trigger.
The jury has reached a verdict in the capital murder trial for teen rapper Taymor McIntyre. He was found guilty of a lesser crime than murder. The penalty phase is underway right now. 21-year-old Ethan Walker was killed in robbery in Mansfield back in 2016. McIntyre did not pull the trigger, but prosecutors say he knew a plan to steal drugs and money would end with someone being shot.
On July 19, 2019, the jury returns its verdict, guilty of murder. He also pleads guilty to 2 aggravated robbery counts, found guilty of a 3rd.
Count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taymor McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. And as to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant, Taymor McIntyre, guilty of the offense of aggravated robbery as charged in count 2 of the indictment. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Unanimous?
Yes.
4 days later, the judge hands down 55 years. Tay-K is 19. The boy who wanted to be a star will spend the majority of his life behind bars. But the legal story isn't finished. For years, the San Antonio case over Mark Anthony Saldivar's death moved slowly through the courts. Delays, appeals, proceedings that drag on. Then in 2025, it finally comes to trial. The state charges him with capital murder. The jury convicts him of a lesser offense, murder. April 15th, 2025. Tay-K is sentenced to 80 years. The judge orders it to run at the same time as the 55-year sentence. Concurrent, not stacked.
Punishment to be assessed at 80 years in the prison, and there is no fine. Does anyone wish to have the jury poll?
He won't serve 135 years, but he'll remain in the Texas prison likely for the rest of his life. 2 lives lost, 2 convictions. 1 mythology that kept burning. So we're back to the question this whole story keeps circling. What actually made Tay-K famous? Some say the music, the talent was genuine. Some say the fugitive narrative, a story this strange couldn't be ignored. Some point to the internet itself, a culture that rewards outrage and danger. That turns a manhunt into entertainment, a murder case into a playlist. There's no single answer, only a disturbing truth. The same machinery that made his rise possible was built on the suffering of real people. So let's be honest about what this story really is. Not a viral moment, not a cautionary tale for the algorithm. 2 men are dead. Ethan Walker was 21, killed during a home invasion. Mark Anthony Saldivar was 23, killed in a parking lot. They had families, they had futures. They aren't characters in a documentary. They're the real-world consequences of a legend the internet turned into a soundtrack. Tay-K became a symbol, they became a memory, and that's the part of the story no streaming number will ever measure. So here's the contradiction we opened with, still unresolved. A teenager ran from a murder case, and became famous because the world watched him run. The song that should have been his downfall became his greatest success. And when it was over, he was still serving 80 years in a Texas prison. Did Tay-K build the mythology around himself? Or did the internet build the mythology out of his downfall? Maybe both, maybe neither. But one thing is certain, the cost of the legend was paid in real lives, and no amount of fame can ever buy them back. That's the real story of the race. And it doesn't end with applause, it ends with silence. If this story stayed with you, it deserves more than a passing scroll. If you want the untold stories of hip-hop, the rises, the falls, everything in between, hit that like button and subscribe to Hip Hop History Vault. Drop a comment and tell us which story you want next. Because the legends we remember, they were real people first. And we're here to tell you how it really happened.